How's it going, everyone? So today we just got back from watching Pokemon Detective Pikachu, and in our first installment of Bottom Tier Reviews, we're going to be covering what we liked and what we didn't like about this movie. Let's dig in.
So what did you guys think about the acting in the movie?
I actually really like the way they casted Justice. I think from what I read, he's actually been like a huge Pokemon fan, and so it's kind of cool seeing someone who has genuinely enjoyed the series, like we have, get to kind of see their dream fulfilled. And I think he did a good job as playing Tim. Was it?
Yeah, the main character.
I really liked it. It felt genuine, and I think there was some spotty parts in it. Like, I don't think he can cry that well.
Oh yeah,
but
yeah, that was pretty nice.
I think that's probably the drawback of getting people who are really passionate about Pokemon, is that they're probably not the best actors, and that probably falls into place with some of these newer actors, that they're passionate about what they do, but sometimes it doesn't always hit. And we kind of see that in this movie, I would say.
They don't have any traditional training. It's almost like they pulled him out of a sweepstakes or something. Like, you get to be in this movie kind of thing.
Yeah, but Ryan Reynolds, I mean, I don't want to say he pulled a Sonic or anything, or Jim Carrey in the Sonic movie, but he definitely didn't pull the movie in this one, which is good.
I was impressed with him, though, because I thought, like, with how he is in Deadpool, I thought he wasn't going to take this role as serious, but I was really impressed with how he played Pikachu in the role.
Yeah, but I think what Josh was trying to say was that, like, he's not carrying the weight of the film on his shoulders.
I felt like the supporting cast was good. Mm-hmm. I cannot think of that girl's name to save my life. Catherine Newton. I think she did a pretty good job. You know, I felt like her character was it was one note, but I think they could have spent more time, like, explaining who she was or something.
She felt more like video game-like in her character than the others.
Yeah, she felt like an NPC.
It's because she was so quirky. Like, especially the scene when they introduced her, I was like, this is kind of weird, but I mean, she kind of grew on me when she kind of relaxed a little bit.
When he's trying to, like, walk up the stairs to get to the apartment, she sticks out her arm and says, no. It was, like, very, like...
Maybe that was intentional. That's actually kind of a good point.
Yeah. I think this movie will definitely give them a better chance at growing, at becoming actors and actresses.
Oh, for sure.
Mm-hmm. And I think, like you were saying, like, I think the being kind of quirky, her character was kind of quirky and stuff, but I think she did it justice. No pun intended.
Yeah.
Hopefully she did it justice.
What about?
Gee, no, this is a kids movie, man.
What did you? Did you think that, like, Pikachu was too quirky at certain points? Like, he kind of played the cliche "I drink coffee" kind of thing a bit.
I thought it was funny, though.
I think he was very funny, but I think he talked a little too much at times. That's my only major gripe with Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, that's kind of nitpicky. Overall, I thought he was really good.
No, I didn't feel awkward.
There were parts of it that I really genuinely thought were funny, and that typically doesn't happen in a kids movie. So, not that this is a kids movie either.
Well, I think it was PG, so...
but it's targeted for
it did say damn
audience.
Yeah. Pikachu did not say fuck.
I should have let Pikachu say fuck.
Yeah, but I think they definitely, and this was a big success in that regard. I think that they targeted towards nostalgic people more than kids.
Yeah.
And I think that was, like I said, a very big success on their part.
Alright, so moving on, I think the most important thing that this movie was trying to tackle was getting a video game into the movie, or into the cinematic universe. And how do you guys think how well did they do that?
I don't think it was flawless, but I think they did a fantastic job at it. I think it definitely accomplished what it was setting out to do.
Yeah, I think when I first saw the trailer, it was kind of like almost too realistic for me. I thought the Pokemon kind of looked too realistic, but when I saw the movie, it may just be like from the big screen, but I think that it actually fit really well into, the real world, what a Pokemon would actually look like.
Yeah, like watching the trailers, there are just certain Pokemon where it's like, this just feels awkward in relation to maybe what other people are thinking, or like just in the universe in general. But watching it in the movie, like you were saying, maybe it was the big screen effect, but like everything just seemed very clean. Like I didn't feel like any of the Pokemon really stood out as like they really screwed it up on this one.
Yeah, like when I saw the trailer, I was like, oh, the Jigglypuff looks kind of
the Jiggly
kind of hideous. Yeah. But then like when we watched it in action, it kind of, I mean, it fit well. I didn't get like.
Yeah, but they really
startled.
didn't. Yeah, they didn't really use Jigglypuff all that much.
Well, yeah.
So maybe,
no, but they stuck to the script of like Jigglypuff singing and he puts them to sleep.
That is one thing that
they did that with a lot of Pokemon.
Yeah.
They stuck to that.
I really do like how they took characteristics from the show and the games and put that into the movie. So like with Jigglypuff singing, like
Pikachu knowing only 4 moves.
Yeah, and status effects and that kind of stuff.
I think a lot of the stuff that a lot of people would have been worried about translating to a movie kind of was taken away when we were introduced to the city that they lived in, Brine City, which doesn't allow Pokemon battles. So essentially a lot of the stuff that you could nitpick on we couldn't nitpick because of the way the society runs. Instead of just admiring the strategies and the tactics that come from Pokemon, we're admiring the way that they look, which is a good thing in my opinion.
It's more about the social interactions between like Pokemon and humans, like could they get along kind of deal.
Yeah, they didn't really have any like traditional Pokemon battles except for in the underground arena. When they did fight, it actually felt more like a fight scene in like any other action movie rather than it being like
and then
video game fight, like a Pokemon fight.
Yeah, and spoiler alert, after that little kind of fight scene, Tim and Pikachu end up getting arrested because it's illegal to fight in the city and stuff like that. So yeah, I thought that was kind of a good touch because, like you said, it's like an underground fight club where you're not really supposed to be doing that.
And that actually plays a pretty important role in the actual plot of the film, which we won't necessarily go into depth. But yeah, I think that's a very interesting point.
They also did a good job at the very beginning of just showing the aspects of catching a Pokemon with the Cubone in the field.
Oh yeah.
And like how you just sit there and you watch it, and then you're like, all right, did I catch it or not? He's like, it's not green.
Yeah, that was a pretty funny scene.
Humor is definitely a good way, because I was thinking about if like my parents or someone watched this movie, what would they really think about it? Because it's not just for us. But I think they would still enjoy it, not knowing a ton of what Pokemon is about.
Oh, my dad would know nothing about Pokemon,
and
I think to a certain extent, like you have to know a bit about Pokemon to enjoy it. Like a lot of the stuff that I laughed at was like
some of the jokes that pertain to the Pokemon universe.
Yeah, like Sweet Mother of Arceus.
Yeah,
like my dad would be like, what does that even mean?
Like, oh, Jesus Christ. They're like, oh, okay, I get it. But yeah, no, the joke quite doesn't translate.
No, but there was simple humor of like when he's scratching Pikachu, how he has that dog thumper.
Oh yeah,
he's like,
yeah.
Oh,
I think that's how
his addiction to coffee.
Yeah,
and I think this was masterfully done. But I think this is how they get moms and like to get their kids to come watch it, because they're like, oh, it looks like a cute little Pikachu, and this may be just a strategy for
Pokemon in general.
Yeah, for Pokemon in general, is they throw their cutest Pokemon out there. Let's go Pikachu, let's go Eevee, and that's how they get people to come watch or play their games.
All right, and so along with the movie, we had some good things that we wanted to talk about real quick. Starting with you, Matt.
Yeah, so I just really enjoyed how they just did all the Pokemon in general. Not only how they looked, but just like how they kept true to their characteristics or movesets, but also made it like very lighthearted. Like, just like with Mr. Mime when he came in, like obviously he's a mime, but just that scene in general was just hilarious, I felt, and was really well done. And little things of like Jigglypuff is singing, the dude's knocked out, and just other things of that nature, I felt like they very well stick true to what it is. And like Ditto, switching different body forms and shapes. I feel like they did a very well job of sticking true to Pokemon looks, their traits, their movesets, and also did a good job of expanding it and making it very family friendly and funny at the same time.
Yeah, I think they made it a good point to keep true to their roots, but they also kind of made it their own in a way. My point that I want to talk about was just about the comedy, and I know you mentioned the Mr. Mime scene. That was a very, very funny scene, but not only that, but there were so many other funny scenes, and for a movie to be funny, like, Genuinely funny. You could throw in a whole bunch of like
poop jokes and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean like or like I like to call it like shock humor.
A cop yelling at Sonic, yelling back at the cop.
Yeah, like it's shock humor. Like, oh, that was wacky. What the heck? That was kind of funny. And especially for a kids movie, they're known for doing something like that. But I mean, with the Detective Pikachu movie, you really had to think about the jokes. Like as I mentioned earlier, the Holy Mother of Arceus, whatever he said, Sweet Mother of Arceus, like. You have to think about that joke in order to find it funny.
Because it makes sense in their universe. That's probably what they say.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they really tied the humor down into their universe, and I think that was a very good point that they made.
Yeah, I think my point is that in order for a movie to be good and resonate in our minds and get us to think about it and making us want to record a review of it is having a good ending. And I think Detective Pikachu really did that with having unexpected plot points throughout the movie. Some of the things were a bit cliche, but something that I really liked, and this will be a spoiler, so if you haven't watched the movie, go ahead and skip ahead, probably a few.
Or click away.
But I really liked how Tim's dad, Harry, was actually Detective Pikachu the entire time, and I think a lot of people probably didn't expect that until close to the very end, when we learn about Mewtwo's abilities. But knowing that and understanding that's how Pikachu can actually talk is because they're mixed together in that way really made the movie stand out for me.
It was also nice to see Ryan Reynolds, like his real self, actually be in the movie and not just...
Yeah, it was kind of unexpected.
Yeah.
It was really nice to see him actually in the movie towards the end.
Yeah, and I didn't even glance... bat an eye, I guess, when he first denied his dad the train ride. You remember what I was talking about? Like, they didn't show him, and I was like, that's weird. I didn't think that's weird. They didn't show his dad.
Yeah.
But it turns out it was
I
Ryan Reynolds.
noticed that they weren't showing his face at all, but it didn't, like, occur to me that I was like, oh, they're trying to hide who it is.
Yeah.
Like, it never... In my mind, I was like, oh, it wasn't important or something like that.
And, I mean, the clues were there the entire time for you to figure out that was his dad. But it's just not some...
sleuth movie.
Yeah, you had to be a detective within Pokémon Detective Pikachu. It's kind of funny.
So while we really enjoyed the movie, there definitely was a few things that we quite didn't enjoy. For example, I forget what Josh was gonna say.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that the things we're gonna bring up are plot points that either didn't really make much sense or seemed like they were just put there because they could be, but they weren't thought out well enough. My point was, this is going to be another spoiler, so sorry, I'm trying not to spoil, but this is going to be another spoiler. When we find out that the leader of the CNM, yeah, turns out to be the bad guy, and he finds a way to control Mewtwo through a headset. He puts on the headset right in front of Tim, and that he loses control of his body, but gains the control of Mewtwo. You'd think if that you were going to use that headset and you would lose the ability to control Mewtwo if you took the headset off, you would hide your body in a place that was...
You'd be in like a chamber or something.
Lock it way away. Maybe they can't get reception.
Yeah.
You have to have open air.
Yeah.
Yeah, why would he invite Tim to be a part of this?
Well, and only having one Ditto be your bodyguard. Like...
Well, I mean, he could turn into a Machamp. Like we saw at the scene. Tim's not going to be able to face that Ditto.
That was another part of the movie that I didn't expect. The
Ditto?
The Ditto
Yeah,
part.
actually,
I really liked it. But.
Well, the thing is, they set him up. They showed Ditto in the recording studio, and you're like, oh, that's kind of neat. He's Ditto.
Yeah,
and then it turns out Ditto's actually the guy, and you're like, oh, God, that makes sense, actually.
Yeah, another point that, I mean, was kind of a con of the movie, I guess I would say, is they kind of dragged out the middle section. Maybe, like, not the middle, but, like, closer to the end
second
section.
half. I would say
it was kind of the second half. They almost, like... had to fill in with a plot point in order for them to find Mewtwo. So what happened was Pikachu got hurt, and they had to find someone to heal him, and it just so happens that person that was going to heal him was Mewtwo. But the reason he got hurt was kind of outlandish to us, I thought. There were giant Torterras that kind of roamed the earth.
Well, they were coming out of the ground, and they were like Godzilla sized.
Yeah, they were like they were huge, and it was due to genetics experiments that
it was a growth experiment on them.
Yeah, so they explained it well, but it was almost unnecessary. Like,
who would need giant torteras like that?
I do think that point, like when they're like, "What the heck? These look like normal sized torteras to me," and then they leave, and then they're like the giant ones. Like, I get it, but it felt kind of unnecessary.
Yeah. It was just too big of a leap from like a normal sized tortera to literally like Godzilla size,
like actual mountains.
Yeah, it was such a big jump.
And they used that in order to get Pikachu hurt, which I thought was kind of.
There are a lot of easier ways for them to do it.
When Tim jumps off one Torterra onto another, like he hits it pretty hard.
Yeah, he would have.
He would have basically been knocked out or almost died.
Broken ribs.
That's just movies in general.
We're just kind of nitpicking.
But then just a tiny pebble hits Pikachu like in the neck.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of nitpicking at that point, but I think it was just kind of, like Josh said, there was tons of different ways that they could have done it.
It felt contrived.
I think they were just trying to...
It just felt different. It just didn't feel right.
Yeah, and that's something that you can't really explain, but I feel like it was just they needed another action scene and they didn't know how to fit it in, like, with the scenario that they were given because they were at the genetics lab. So, like, they kind of threw in giant torteras in there, you know? I don't know.
In the end, Legendary Pictures was able to create a movie that respected the fans of Pokemon and created a movie that also allows non-fans of Pokemon to enjoy their viewing experience.
In this segment called Bottom Tier Reviews, we're not really going to leave a numerical value on our reviews because we really want to take the movies for face value and what there are. Every person has a different experience with it, but I would say overall, we all enjoyed the Pokemon Detective Pikachu movie, and we thought that, like Josh said, Legendary Pictures did a quality job, and they respected their fans enough to make a movie that appeals to both hardcore fans and people who are just looking to catch a good film.
Favorite Pokemon?
Favorite Pokemon in the entire movie? You didn't give me a chance to think about this, actually.
For me, I'm a Gen 3 guy. I love Gen 3. And seeing Ludicolo as a barista made my day.
He had Asperger's, no doubt.
That's just Ludicolo.
No, it's not.
In the video game, he's so happy. The dude's playing the bongo drums. He's just dancing so back cheerful. And forth. He's so happy all the time. And then this one, I don't know what happened, but he was crazy.
You know, I think I liked Trico, and they used him a lot. But like him sticking on the glass when they went into the detective office, I thought that was pretty cute.
Yeah, I like to look in the background and see what Pokemon I can get and find. I think one of my favorite ones was Joltik.
Oh yeah, they were so tiny and kind of cute. Actually.
They just melted into the environment very easily.
You know, Pikachu isn't my favorite Pokemon, but I really liked Pikachu in this movie. Like, anytime he was on screen, the only thing I could think about was like, man, I want to rub his cheeks. He looks so fluffy.
You might want to rephrase that. I want to clap those cheeks. Cliche but respectable, Kyle. I think that's a good answer.
Like they made him look so cuddly, and I want a Pikachu now.